machine. I wasn't always just a single shade, a palette full of gray in reverie. And I can burn it brighter I'd rather be a dreamer, I'd rather be free, I'd rather be a leader, I'd rather be a queen, I'd rather be a singer in a trashy cover band. I'd rather be a closer, I'd rather be clean, I'd rather be a poser in a magazine, I'd rather be pretty much anything else than your machine. It's plain and simple, dear. I'll still be here when you're gone. You gather souvenirs, but I will never be your pawn. Your pawn. Your pawn. My love wasn't ever a game. I lay with it's perfect. Work it, work it. Work it, work it. Work it, work it. Turn up the heat, don't stop till it's perfect. Work it, work it. Work it, work it. Work it, work it. Turn up the heat, don't stop till it's perfect. Work it, work it. Work it, work it. Work it, work it. Turn up the heat, don't stop till it's perfect. Work it, work it. Work it, work it. Work it, work it. Turn up the heat, don't stop. Welcome to the Monday stream. I hope everyone's having an awesome Monday, and I hope everyone had a good weekend. Welcome, everybody. Michael Hasser, welcome. Moanep, Charlie Martini, Kirkenside's Monster, welcome. Work it, ADT, welcome, Heat. Ironically, I think the song is called Punctual. And here I am showing up to stream. Not punctual. My girlfriend just reminded me of this song, Heart. It Races, a cover by Dr. Dog. It brought a whole flood of indie shit we used to listen to when we were in our early 20s, going down a rabbit hole. Nice. I'm always on time. Donald Trump unalived Epstein. I mean, there's been some developments on that end. Apparently now, magically, there is no client list. When we were told that indeed there was a client list, I'm pretty sure it was Pam Bondi. It was Pam Bondi who said that she had the client list and was reviewing it. So what happened? Is there or is there not a client list? Yeah, Pam Bondi. There you go. Pam Bindus. I am personally shocked. I think, like, the question is, like, are we going to see, like, because of this whole feud between Elon and Trump, is that why they're saying this, to get ahead of it, in case Elon decides to go rogue and say, like, actually, I have the names right here, and they can just point and say, like, nope, our Department of Justice said that doesn't exist. Are they just trying to get ahead of that? Bad Lefty, welcome. Handsome File 13.
Welcome, welcome, Bad Lefty. Alright, folks, let's get started. Thank you all for being here. Appreciate it. Thank you all for your support. You guys are what makes this channel go. I appreciate it. If you want to support the channel directly, check out the merch store. Hit !tip. Do the Substack. Join the Discord, folks. And check out this space. Working Class Media Collective. If you haven't seen what's going on at this space, check it out. I highly recommend it. You can also check out my show on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. at this space. We are live Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays. There is syndicated content. There's live content, including mine. Appreciate that, Kirkenstein's Monster. This space ain't a bad place. No, it isn't. I'm going to the fair tomorrow night. We'll miss you all. Good luck. I honestly haven't been to a fair in like a million years. I hope you have fun. It sounds like fun. Yeah, bring back a corn talk. My kid is 8, so she wants to ride some things. Yeah, it sounds like fun. Alright, folks, let's get started. Well, I appreciate that. Thank y'all. I will get lots of yummy food. See, that's where it's at. That's exactly where it's at for me. Not a big ride person myself. But I will be okay with some food. I used to be, but now I'm old. Nah, even when I was young, I was never like a big ride. Like I've gone on rides on the fair, but I've never been like a big fair like ride person, even as a younger kid. Mr. Renaissance Fair, to be honest, we did too. We've been meaning to go. We've been meaning to go to the Ren Fair. Yeah, the camera quit. It's all good. Let's see. I kind of got the hang of just getting it fixed pretty quickly. I just don't know what's causing it. I'm pretty sure it's like the computer. I don't know. This computer has seen some mileage. It is my strictly streaming and gaming computer, so it's seen a bit of mileage. So maybe that's what it is. I don't know. It's unclear. It used to work, now it's old. It's tired. It's tired. Like, it's because you're giving us too much truth. Yeah. Computer can't handle the truth. Fun houses are freaky. Fair food's pretty good. I agree with that. I think this is piggybacking off the story we went over as the federal government tries to distance themselves from alligator Auschwitz. I'm pretty sure this is kind of piggybacking off this same kind of story. I had a dream last night. I made a
As
YouTube
everybody-
video. Yeah, I wish I had that capability, honestly. Godspeed and God bless to all the YouTubers who can do this. Because to be able to write a script and research and film and edit, it's a whole thing. It's like one of those in between sleep dream things. Nah, can't be me. When I'm out, I'm out. YouTube is my favorite place to watch anything pre-recorded, but I prefer to mod here. Yeah, I mean, it's easy. As far as like the user interface, maybe it's just because I've been on Twitch for a minute. Maybe I'm just more familiar with it, but I like the interface in Twitch. I still can't figure out how to do stuff in YouTube. So, yeah.
As everybody knows, last week, Alligator Alcatraz, or Everglades Auschwitz, whatever you want to call it, opened up in South Florida. And that, of course, is the migrant detention facility that is now part of an abandoned airstrip right near the Everglades. And the idea, of course, is that if a migrant tries to escape, they're going to get eaten by the alligators, killed by the pythons that have become invasive in South Florida. Either way, the wildlife will take care of these people.
I mean, like, first of all, like, do they just think that, like, wildlife behaves that way? Second of all, like, the pythons are not a problem for humans as far as I can understand it. It's a problem for the environment because the pythons have become incredibly invasive and have destroyed the native wildlife in Florida. But also, like, I'm not sure how that plays out. I don't think that pythons are particularly dangerous to humans. Alligators, however, maybe, but you have to do a couple things wrong to find yourself in a predicament with an alligator. A crocodile may be a little bit more aggressive. But alligators are not. I don't know. It's just pure ignorance, I guess. Pythons wouldn't kill you. Yeah. Apparently, Twitch mod tools are much better, according to Soul Life, and I trust Soul Life at all times. I mean, it's easier, but that's, again, it's easier. I'm more used to it. The tools are just there. Versus YouTube, it's kind of clunky, but yeah, see a 6-foot gator, call animal control, or just try to chase it. I mean, they're pretty skittish. I've seen my fair share of alligators, and they're pretty shy. They most of the time they want nothing to do with you. Most of the time, they could bite your pet. Your pet is a different story. I would definitely be careful as far as your pet goes, because they are very much a snack for an alligator. That isn't to say they aren't dangerous to you, but yeah. They said in Colorado to call it to report bears, but it could be different with gators. I'm no Florida woman. I mean, it depends, I guess. I genuinely don't know the rules. If you see an alligator, personally, I mean, like, they're not. Chances are, unless you do several things wrong, chances are an alligator is probably not going to want to do anything with you. I would be very careful if you have pets around. But yeah, pets, very small children. Yeah.
And the Trump administration loves it. Trump was there on opening day, and then, of course, the very next day it flooded, so it's off to a bad start. But Trump has embraced it. Trump has endorsed it. The Department of Homeland Security loves it. Caroline Leavitt talked about it in a couple press briefings. They're all in on Alligator Alcatraz, and they want everybody to know that they're...
Yeah, in fact, they made a statement encouraging other governors to do the same thing. So, yeah. It's all fun and games until you're going to start being held liable for the inevitable horrors that are going to happen in this concentration camp.
All in on it. But that all happened before the lawsuits started rolling in late last week.
Yep, that's where this is going. This is exactly the story that we were talking about Thursday, I want to say. Yeah, it's all fun and games until the liability lands on your doorstep. Then all of a sudden they want nothing to do with it. Yeah. As a very big-brained person once said, whoopsies.
And now suddenly that there's, lawsuits involved, a very panicked Trump administration is now telling the courts, whoa, we got nothing to do with this. I'll explain what's happening in just a moment, but first, a quick word from one of today's video sponsors.
No!
In 2025, 51% of companies are already using AI. Microsoft, Amazon, and Google all have laid off thousands.
It's completely terrible.
To build coding and
bad,
videos
AI bad.
From tech. Over 4 million in this workshop, and I would definitely recommend for the 2-day training. The Trump administration has
AI bad, okay? I don't know if this is an ad for AI or not.
fully embraced and supported and even been there for the opening ceremonies of the Everglades Auschwitz. And then late last week, on Thursday, environmental groups filed a lawsuit against the administration and the creation of Alligator Alcatraz, arguing correctly that this is a government facility. You can't just build a government facility without, environmental reviews and all these other things, not to mention this is basically a protected area of the state. You can't do this legally. And to that, the Trump administration, specifically the Department of Homeland Security, said, hey, cool your jets, environmental groups. We have nothing to do with it. Like, what is this? Oh, this is a Ron DeSantis thing.
Sadly, by the time we see liability suits, it may be too late for some, maybe many. Yeah.
They're throwing DeSantis onto the bus. After last week, like, Trump and DeSantis were like, let bygones be bygones. We're buddies again. And then 2 days later, they're in court saying, like, DeSantis did it. This is this guy. Like, we were just there.
So life welcome. I spent 20 minutes arguing with Google's AI yesterday. It was blatantly wrong, and then finally admitted I was right.
In the Everglades.
In other AI news, like Grok is now just like indistinguishable from like 4chan at this point. So that's cool.
We were on a fan boat, and suddenly we're like, hey, isn't that
Ron DeSantis
Ron
is
DeSantis?
back.
We don't know what's going on. Here's what the Trump
Captions are amazing. Automatic captions always get me.
administration said in their filing. Florida is constructing and operating the facility using state funds on state lands under state emergency.
Yeah, but like that's not necessarily true because they're planning to use FEMA funds, which are federal funds, to get reimbursed for this. That's where the funding is coming from, right? Like they're getting reimbursed with federal funding. So, I mean, for all intents and purposes, like there's federal money going into this. I mean, you can try to wave it off by saying that technically it's a reimbursement, so whatever. Florida put the money up front, but like it's a distinction without a difference, if you ask me. Grok D's
Authority and a pre-existing general delegation of federal authority to implement immigration functions. So, in other words, they're using their money on their land with their time and their effort. All
also, like, isn't immigration like a federal thing anyways?
we did was, give full federal oversight because it has to do with immigrants, which we control, not them.
Right. So, exactly. Fantastic.
So, in your denial, you're also admitting that, yeah, we're kind of involved. Not to mention
You
the fact
kinda
that
have
prior
to
to
be.
the lawsuit being filed,
Like, there's no, like, you kind of have to be. If you're the federal government, you are involved with immigration. Like, there's no Florida Department of Immigration. There's no, like, Florida, like, a separate immigration thing. That doesn't exist. Meanwhile, Texas is underwater. A flood, too, at that, biblical, and it happened on 4th of July. If there was a God, he's talking to you, Texas Republicans. Trump took away the early warning abilities. Yes. So from what I understand, I just saw this. I think it was yesterday. We'll talk about it. We'll come back to it. By its very nature, immigration is 100% a federal issue. Yep. So, like, yeah, they can't get away from being involved in an immigration concentration camp.
the Department of Homeland Security had actually said this. The Department of Homeland Security said earlier this week that DHS had in fact signed off on a plan to house up to 5,000 people in Florida and plan to use funding from FEMA's shelter program to reimburse the $450 million in estimated costs. So they may be using state money, but they're only using state money because you already promised them you would pay them back using federal funds. Federal funds, by the way, from a program, FEMA, that Donald Trump has said he's getting rid of at the end of hurricane season. So, your denial is starting to look pretty dumb. You were involved with this every step of the way. You've admitted you were involved with this every step of the way. But now that this thing has become such a humongous embarrassment and, of course, is overwhelmingly rejected by the public, suddenly you want nothing to do with the cruelty because you've realized Nobody wants this. Did you know that you might be missing out on wonderful content from me?
They never learn the right lessons. Yep. These people don't think for themselves, spoon-fed that crap. Yeah, I mean, it's, yes, 100%. It's a cult, right? It's a cult. So I guess we should probably mosey on over here. For those of you that have seen the news, the horrific news, at this point in time, the death toll in Texas has just passed 90 people, if I'm correct. The last the last update is like 91 people. Of course, I suspect that the death toll is not going to be finished just quite yet. At this time, we know that about 20, I want to say 28, definitely just shy, a couple shy of under of 30 children are dead, and I'm pretty sure that if any are missing at this time, it's unclear if there's going to be any hope any hope for any other missing children. I'm gonna presume that when it's all said and done, most of those children are not, they're dead. The counselor who attempted to save them also died. Just truly horrific stuff. This is a tale of horrific stuff. This is a tale of the climate crisis. This is a tale of bad governance. And these are the consequences, right? It's tragic. And the reason why these people were not evacuated is because the office, the position who is in charge of these warning systems took the buyout, took the Trump buyout when the Doge cuts were happening, and that position has been empty for months. They have not replaced that person for months. So everyone was essentially flying blind. The data is useless if it's not being disseminated to the proper authorities, and the proper authorities can then make the right decisions based on the data. There's no, that there wasn't, it just wasn't there. Sisyphean task, welcome. Shirley Barber. Those deaths were avoidable, at least many of them were. Yeah. Many of them were, and that's the tragedy. That's the tragedy. I mean, apparently AccuWeather tried to warn Texas, but they didn't listen. I think they were considered woke or something. I think, like, specifically, let me go back to this. See if I can pull this up.
Forecasts were not to blame. No weather balloon launches were missed. Forecasts did predict heavy rain. Notifications of flooding were given hours in advance. The issue was that the warnings went out in the middle of the night. Someone has to get the information and act on it. Someone with the job title of, oh, I don't know.
So the warnings came out,
How about a warning coordination meteorologist?
and there is a position specifically that is called the warning.
I don't know. How about a warning
The warning coordination meteorologist, and that position, the person who held that position, took that buyout, and that position has been empty since April, if I'm correct.
One of the empty positions in the National Weather Service's San Antonio field office. Why is it vacant, you might ask? This position, which, and I quote, is meant to work with local emergency managers to plan for floods, including when and how to warn local residents and help them evacuate. This position has been vacant since April 30th because the person who was in that job took Trump's early retirement package. That's the San Antonio office, which covers a much larger downstream area from where the major flooding occurred.
Let me see if I can find it. Okay, so I found it here in my phone. Let me see if I can pull it up. Ah, here we are.
If you care about the Texas floods, you need to hear the news that the New York Times just broke, because we learned yesterday that the National Weather Service's forecasts were not to blame. No weather balloon launches were missed. Forecasts did predict heavy rain, and notifications of flooding were given hours in advance. The issue was that the warnings went out in the middle of the night. Someone has to get the information and act on it. Someone with the job title of, oh, I don't know. How about a warning coordination meteorologist, which is the name of one of the empty positions in the National Weather Service's San Antonio field office. Why is it vacant, you might ask? This position, which, and I quote, is meant to work with local emergency managers to plan for floods, including when and how to warn local residents and help them evacuate. This position has been vacant since April 30th because the person who was in that job took Trump's early retirement package. Now, that's the San Antonio office, which covers a much larger downstream area from where the major flooding occurred. San Angelo office, which covers Kerr County, was missing a senior hydrologist, staff forecaster, and meteorologist in charge. Overall, between the two offices covering the flood area, the job vacancy rate is double what it was when Trump took office. This all points at a much larger issue that Trump and his MAGA cult just do not understand. Yes, it is annoying that we live in a world with frustrating, unpredictable problems. And yes, it is expensive to deal with those frustrating and unpredictable problems. But it's the reality we live in, even if it's a reality that Trump is incapable of facing. Because what we're seeing right now is the consequence of his ignorant, naive fantasy, where he can fix everything faster than anyone else, where he can make everything better than anyone else, and where he can do everything cheaper than anyone else. And the best news is, it only takes 2 weeks. Sorry, America, but that's con man shit. And 75 million Americans played the role of the mark perfectly.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, enough said, right? So this is gross negligence at best. at best. At best. Good thing we have all the folks at NOAA are working out. Never mind. These were predictable. Yep. Welcome, Wolf Glenn. I'm just me. Welcome. It's murder. We are in a class war after all. Yeah, this is what we would call social murder. It'd been cheaper to pay the salary than dealing with 90 lawsuits. Yeah, wait for a Cat 4 or Cat 5 hurricane, which again, we wouldn't have the accurate systems in place to be able to warn people properly on where it's going to land. It's not going to be as accurate. In fact, John Morales, who is a very famous meteorologist who's been in the business for quite a while, said so. He said that the tools are just not they're just not sufficient, and the predictions are going to be difficult. Tom Nicholas, rating with a party of 123. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome, everybody. Folks, if you haven't seen me before, I am A Difficult Truth. I do the news, I do the politics. I'm here Monday, Wednesday, Thursdays, here on Twitch. So if you enjoy the content, you enjoy your stay, hit that follow button. It really does help us out. If you enjoy the content and want to discover more lefty media, check out my show on this space, which is on Tuesdays, which is a media working class collective. Check it out. Thank you so much, folks. And huge shout out to Tom Nicholas for the raid and trusting us with your wonderful community. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I have to tell you, I've come to tell you a difficult truth. Sounds like a problem for Florida and surrounding red states that voted for this. It is. It is a problem, and it is a problem for everybody there. Unfortunately, for people that also didn't vote for this. That's the tragic part too, right? The small skeleton crew of the NWS and NOAA is only for this one hurricane season. Probably to give it to Ronnie Diabone after being such a loyal foot soldier. It may make landfall in an 80-mile range, and we have no idea if it's a Cat 2 or Cat 5. None of that matters, right? I'm in Orange, South County, California. It does not matter the magnitude of an earthquake, 4 to 7.5. No difference. Yeah, no difference. You know, it's just a really small, really big difference, where the amount of destruction is just magnitudes. So that's cool. You're doing a great job on this space. Well, I appreciate that, Wanda. All this to say is that, yes, it is a story, a tragedy of bad governance, okay? Donald Trump and his Doge cuts, Republicans and their need to gut important offices and important positions and leave them blank, leave them open, unfilled. Is gross mismanagement, and it's the climate crisis. the bot is here for everyone. Okay, the poor bot didn't do nothing. If you're in Hurricane Alley, honestly, I would assume you're in the danger zone and leave. I mean, you can't really... It's not... It's just not going to be accurate. If the hurricane is kind of pointing your direction, you kind of have to... You kind of have to evacuate or roll the dice. Because we just won't know. We can predict... what we can predict with the information provided, but just how trustworthy are those predictions is the issue. But don't worry, Donald Trump will use all the people who survive in alligator Alcatraz to rebuild for free. I know it's not easy to leave, too. Right, that's an issue. Some people can't leave. What are you supposed to do? Easier said than done, to be fair. Yeah, I mean, like, there's going to be people that simply can't leave without proper preparation. You know, people who may have some medical issues. They just can't. They can't just like pick up and go. They need to make sure, you know, that that they're prepared. Gotta stop taking hiring ideas from my workplace. Fire 2 or 3. Let number 3 do all 3 jobs. It's just your job now. Can't do it all. Too bad. Yep. My house was destroyed by Hurricane Andrew when I was like 5. Yeah, I was pretty young when this happened too. I was younger than that. I'll never live anywhere near those puckers again. My SNES survived miraculously. Wow. Fits in with RFK's eugenicist vision. Plur saying, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Thank you. And meanwhile, while this country has been very hateful and bigoted towards Latino people, towards Hispanic people, including Mexican people. Yeah, it was 92. I was younger than that. Here we have Mexican firefighters showing up to help. SNES was a durable console. I threw mine many times. Back when Nintendo was good. Firefighters from Mexico respond to Texas Hill country flooding, marking an international response. The search and rescue mission is now an international effort. Firefighters from Mexico have arrived in Kerr County, Texas, to help find survivors and those missing in a catastrophic flash flooding that swept through the region on Independence Day. More than 20 firefighters from Ciudad Acuña, Mexico, and Fundación 911 are lending a hand to their northern neighbor. The crew arrived in the Hill County on Sunday morning and got right to work. They are working alongside Mountain Home Fire Department. Globus, welcome. My state has been in 2 hurricanes in my life that I remember. Both times the guy at the shore was standing sideways, but when I went outside, there was a slight wind. Yeah, you know it's going to be bad when... what's that famous reporter's name? Was it... Can somebody help me out here? What's the famous... the famous hurricane reporter that goes out there? Like, he doesn't gotta do any of this, but he does. I think, I want to say Canona, my goodness. Tim, yes, Jim Cantor, there we go, that guy. Thank you, yes. No, not Al Roker. Jim Cantor, that's who I'm looking for. No. Liddy Bros. Vox Leona. Welcome. Yes, Jim Kent. If you see that guy in your neighborhood, it's probably not gonna be a good time. The damage from the second hurricane was a small twig on the lawn. Hey, it's the Morton. John Lithium. Michael Fish? No, Jim Cantor. Mom used to watch a Weather Channel for fun. That dude is burned into my brain. They're not only bringing extra boots on the ground, but also drones and other technology to help find several dozen Texans still missing. The leaders of the group tell KPRC that they work hand in hand with the U.S. fire departments to train and respond to disasters. Just wild stuff. Look at this. Michael Fish is a famous British weather guy. Gotcha. Look at this stuff. Jeez. In my childhood, it was John Morales was the staple. This happened not too long ago. My friend's new house in Houston got flooded a few years back. Jesus. I can't imagine being stuck in fast rising water. Me neither. That sounds very scary. Also, you muted? Yeah, I muted the video. But yeah, you can send that to me. Any links directly. No, I am. Okay. Just wild stuff. Once again, the responsibility is solely on the Republican Party, who has made this possible, because there's a lot of unnecessary deaths that happened because of the direct decisions that you can put at the feet of the Republican Party. That's it. Like that's basically it. A to B and C. That's it. Republican Party, Trump's administration decides to take a sledgehammer to very critical offices like the National Weather Service, like NOAA, and of course these positions have not been filled since April, and of course the information that's being brought is either incomplete or not being disseminated, or we're just not having the correct equipment. I mean, like it's such a bad mix of variables here that directly led to a lot of these deaths. It's just that straight of a line. Fast rising water that smells like sewage. It's just so scary. Water is very, very, very freaking scary. Fast rising water is very scary that you can do nothing about. That's terrifying. All this to pretend like we're making government more efficient. That's why those people died. All to pretend and make this show of making the government more efficient. I think only fire weather scares me more. That's also scary because that's nothing you can do about that either. I mean, like, at least with hurricanes, right? You have some kind of advance notice. It's not like a flash flood where you may have a couple of hours of notice. Versus like a hurricane, you may have like, okay, well, this is a system that I need to be watching. It may be a week, and if it gets closer, then we'll keep watching, and then like as it gets closer, it'll be a couple days. Like, you have plenty of warning when it's like a hurricane or something like that. But like a flash flood or like a wildfire, that's scary stuff. Or a tornado. I mean, like, I guess with a tornado, you can kind of have some warning, because you can see, like, when thunderstorms start to, like, massive, like, cells start to roll in. But those are only, like, hours in advance that you get those notices? The worst is a large earthquake. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing for that, right? There's no, like, early warning system. I mean, I guess you could kind of tell by like smaller tremors. I don't even know. I'm gonna be honest. I'm completely ignorant on that. Yeah. Also, the rich can save money like poor billionaires. Severe storms, then tornadoes. Having a house with a basement helps. Yep. I've got a basement, but it's kind of like a pseudo basement. It's not like a basement, but it kind of is. There's a small section of this basement that I would consider like pretty safe. In the event that we do have a tornado. Tornadoes are what we have mostly here, and I'm not an airbender. We get our fair share of like storms that come here. But I haven't experienced anything like in Florida. I've not experienced anything like hurricanes in Florida. This house has stood here for 112 years. I think it'll be okay. Nice. I live in a FE manufactured home. I will be blown or swept away. Yeah, that's scary. That's scary. I had a friend who had to deal with a hurricane in a manufactured home. Couldn't evacuate, so she had to stay. Scary.
The AI provision of this, there was a provision in the bill that was going to create a 10-year moratorium on state.
This is talking about the big beautiful bill, if I'm correct.
Its ability to in any way regulate,
or the Is it the Genius Act?
AI, and that is a very narrow AI sounds a lot more narrow than it is. It would have meant anything almost algorithmic. Things like rent price fixing websites. I mean, a whole host of things would have been outside of the state's purview. That was voted out. Here's Steve Bannon with Mike Davis talking about this. Is quite a turnaround. The vote was something like 99-1 to strip it out of the bill. Now, Bannon's very excited because he really has a problem with folks like Elon Musk, because Elon Musk has a problem with him. And so this is part of this little intra MAGA fight, I guess you could call it. Again, it's not ideological at the end of the day. It really is just which one of them wants to be closer to Donald Trump.
After midnight, they thought they had this one. At 4 o'clock in the morning, there was a 99-1 vote, which shows you no senator, when exposed, wanted to be near this thing. This is the kind of radioactive vote that they don't want attached.
The War Room Podcast. Flash floods, you know, what the likelihood is based on where you live, same as brush fire. Earthquakes, you have emergency food, water, and supplies in every car you own, and if your home is 2 stories, you have the supplies on both floors. With earthquakes, you have to plan to be cut off from the world for 2 weeks. That is scary. That is scary. That is scary. This was such a cash grab for AI and social media companies. Yep. Bannon should be in jail. No, he should be, but he completed his sentence for what did he do again? Contempt of Congress. He was in jail for like a couple months at most. I think the total jail time that Bannon actually served was closer to 4 months, I want to say. Yeah. That's what I want to say. What happened to his fraud charges? Good question. I'm legitimately that is a good question. But have you planned for a nuke? Watch Threads. I mean, like, there's no planning, right? Like, I mean, realistically speaking, right? Like, what would you do, right? The only thing that you can do is, if you're not like in the blast zone, right? Then the only thing you can do is stay indoors and basically shield up any openings. Like preferably you would want to. Okay, so pretend it's like a tornado. Head to one pretty decently secured room. Put as much tarp or whatever you have to cover any openings. Shut the AC down. And be prepared to stay there for what, like a week, maybe? That's it. You can't really do much other than stay put. I think So Life is right. Trump might have pardoned him for those, because I know Trump did something with Steve Bannon. Yeah, I'll just go into my vault. Yeah, paid for by Vault-Tec. I just want to set the world
To their, and the only guy that voted for is
on
Tillis, who's leaving and needs a job
fire.
as a lobbyist, obviously, with AI. It is the shift in this from actually being a done deal after weeks and weeks and weeks. That's how powerful the oligarchs are, to
Broligarchs.
99-1 against, you know, what, 16, 17, 18 hours later. Walk us through that, sir.
Yeah, 10 a.m. This was a done deal for the AI oligarchs. They thought they were going to get 10 years of amnesty. They worked on getting a deal with Marsha Blackburn, who opposed them on this, and she's been a fierce warrior. I know she's going to try to come on your show after the vote. She's been great on that. She was able to work out because they thought this was just inevitable, so she was trying to cut her losses, and so she went from 10 years to 5 years, and there was some language that purported to protect kids, creators.
Yeah, I gotta start saving your bottle caps. Look, I got some bottle caps right here. I'm ready. I don't know if you folks can see that, but that's that is Nuka-Cola bottle caps. So yeah, I'm ready. I'm starting my Fallout playthrough with at least some bottle caps ready to go. Yeah, it's about a week, yes. But you're still screwed. Oh, no doubt, because, like, I mean, what then, right? Okay, so you made it, it's been a week, and basically, like, society has basically, collapsed, essentially. So, I mean, just Fallout, yes. Has anyone watched Fallout? It's so good. It is so good. I've actually run through most, I'm pretty sure I'm done with all, like, the missions in Fallout 4 that aren't, like, reoccurring missions. So, like, main quests and all their kind of side stories. So I did, go back in time and play Fallout, and playing Fallout 3. And the TV show seems to be taking a lot from Fallout 3. From what I as I'm playing Fallout 3, the TV show seems to be taking a lot of cues from Fallout 3. The second season comes out in December. I can't wait. It's such a good show. Like, for a video game show, you know, a lot of video game shows have been kind of iffy, but Fallout's been pretty good. I heard a lot of good things about The Witcher. Last of Us is good too. Jericho's a good nuclear Fallout show. I gotta see that one. Almost done with Squid. I actually never watched the Squid Games, I'm gonna be honest. Goggins can do no wrong.
Conservatives from censorship, but as we pointed out on the show yesterday, that language was largely hollow. And so we went back to Blackburn. I worked very closely with Senator Blackburn's chief of staff.
The first 2 seasons of The Witcher are great. Got another endorsement. I played 3, I think, and the one before New Vegas. I had the dopest house and it was decked out. I had a big ogre guy following me, and I'd give him all the crappy stuff to carry and sell it. Nice. I think you can get a super mutant follower in Fallout 4, but I opted for the reporter. The reporter is my, like, main is like my main follower on Fallout 4. Fallout 3 I just started, so I don't know. I don't think I've gotten to be able to get a companion. But yeah, we'll see.
all day, all afternoon, all evening. I'll give Katie Lane a shout out. She's one of my good friends. Her husband, Bill Lane, used to volunteer for the Article 3 project as a lawyer. Now he's a nominee to be a top Pentagon lawyer. I worked very hand in glove with Katie Lane and Grace and the War Room posse and Steve Bannon. And we worked with the senior members of the
he's already
White House.
talking about more people than was necessary in the Senate to actually get the votes here. This sounds like a lot of of grandstanding. I think it was just because Ted Cruz wanted it so badly that everybody wanted to screw him over.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad it's not in there, but you know, the rest of the bill is an atrocity.
Absolute atrocity. Here is
I've been hitting the Animal Crossing New Horizons hard. Another game that I should probably be playing, but you know, I've tried to play like Minecraft on my phone, just to like be able to play something that has just for like you know those video games that you play for like calming effect. Like I think Minecraft is one of those games because you can just mindlessly just mill about in a world. But I can't quite seem to get the grasp of it. I gotta play more. My house has been abandoned for a year or so. I was hooked during the pandemic. Goggins was a great bad guy in Ant-Man. Still playing Fallout 4, beat New Vegas during COVID. Yeah, I did it back asswards. I played Fallout for my first introduction to Fallout was Fallout 4. Way back when. I think 2000. Jesus. 2016? When did Fallout come out? Yeah, 2016. Because Fallout 4 came out in November of 2015, and I played it probably like half a year to close to a year after it released. My island's called Greenland. Nice. Where does one play Animal Crossings? Is that just any platform, cross-platform?
Scott Besant
Basant.
on with Brian
Switch, gotcha.
Kilmeade, and he is pushing again. I mean, this is it's impressive how the Republicans hold on to this notion that if you cut taxes, you actually raise revenue. This was what George Herbert Walker Bush called 40 years ago voodoo economics. This is what the people of Kansas had a firsthand experience with when Sam Brownback, the governor there, brought in Arthur Laffer of the Laffer curve to map out how they could cut taxes and raise revenue. And within 2 years, the Kansas had devastated their revenues so much by cutting taxes that a completely controlled Republican legislature voted to raise taxes. And yet, Scott Besant still able to peddle this garbage. Now, to be fair,
Yeah,
it's
voodoo economics would not be prudent at this juncture. And trickle down economicsy.
on Fox and Friends.
Taking advantage of the system. We're going to put in a work requirement, and we're just trying to get the levels back to where we were pre-COVID, which I don't think anybody disagrees with.
Elon Musk says this. It's obvious with this insane spending bill, increases the debt ceiling by $5 trillion. We live in a one-party country, the Porky Pig Party. Time for a new political party that actually cares about the people. And he's probably going to start one if this passes. What's your reaction? You guys famously tangled in the White House.
I admire.
This is what I came here for. Give it to me.
Elon's leadership on rockets, I will take care of the finances.
So do you feel as though he says the $5
Pause it
trillion
for a second.
added to the deficit, you don't agree?
Am I mistaken? But hasn't the last 6 Musk rockets exploded?
Yeah.
Yep.
They
Also, wasn't
the
Doge-
last one didn't even get off the ground and it exploded or something?
It would have been nice for him to have said this back when Doge was a thing too. Like, why are we trusting the rocket guy with this stuff?
All right, let's go back. I mean, because
Yeah, but like, whatever. It's not about what makes sense. Where was that attitude under Doge? Yep, completely gone.
Basant's about to make his pitch about how
Non-existent.
this is like by cutting, we're actually going to get more revenue. Basant also seems to have picked up a Grecian formula habit too. Have you noticed that, or is that
Yeah,
Grecian formula?
voodoo economics.
I'll have to ask you about that later.
No, I guess that's maybe
in
an
the
old
White
one.
House?
I admire Elon's leadership on rockets. I will take care of the finances.
So do you feel as though he says the $5 trillion added to the deficit, you don't agree?
I don't agree at all. Let me tell you why. Because this bill will set off growth.
Yeah, anything that he's saying at this point is obviously BS, because it does add to the deficit. It adds trillions of dollars to the deficit.
We've never seen before. The CBO projections only project 1.8% per year growth, which is substantially below what we saw in President Trump's first term. And I think we are going to see big acceleration here. And once you see the growth trajectory change to an upward bias, the bill more than pays for itself. You know, we could be in surplus.
Wow.
Let me just explain what he's saying there. First of all, Trump promised 4% growth on these tax cuts back in the first term. It wasn't anywhere close to that. And if anything, you had years of recovery that came from the 2008 crisis,
Right.
That attributed for a lot of that growth. But nevertheless, the idea that keeping a baseline of tax cuts is going to create growth is absurd. Nobody has any more money. There's no reason. There's no more money that's available for to go into the economy. Instead, what you're doing is you're destroying rural hospitals, and you're going to see a contraction there. You're cutting people off of food stamps. So people are going to buy less food.
Yep.
Which is going to ripple through the economy.
Yep. I mean, like, this shouldn't. You don't have to be an economist to understand that, right?
And the idea that, like, if you had a bias, as he says, towards growth, in other words, if you believed in the complete voodoo economics that cutting taxes will increase your revenue, well, then everything will be fine. It's absurd.
If it was always 25-mile-per-hour wind, I'd run 7-minute miles every time.
Exactly. You know, if you have a bias for me having a capacity to fly, traffic would never be a problem for me. But people just refuse to have that bias.
You know, if we just say we're going to have the gravity of Mars, I'll be able to dunk, so.
There you go.
But you'll be out of breath. I think if you go to Mars, it makes you, there's less oxygen, right? Isn't that the problem?
That's what I hear.
There was some hot Trump on Elon action last night. I don't know if anybody saw that. Was that my own personal feed or?
Yeah, that's your For You page.
Oh yeah, that's there's an OnlyFans page that has specifically set up for me to see this. Hey folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m.
Samuel. Well, that's one way to end the segment. Nope, don't want spam calls. All right, folks, I believe we have, oh, shoot. I forgot to go over this, this was part of what we were discussing, earlier about this, the storm in Texas. Probably the bot, am I right? The call's coming from inside the computer. Yeah, I know. Like, somehow, like, I don't think I set it, my phone, to forward calls to my computer, but apparently you can do that. Hermit Horologist, welcome. I forgot to cue this up here. This is kind of like the last thing that I wanted to go over, and I forgot. So the day after this happened, Marjorie Taylor Greene took it upon herself to tweet this out. No, this is not satire. This is not a satire account. This is her. And this is what she decided to tweet out in response to the horrific floods that happened in Texas. Thank you for the follow, Conan. Yeah, if only she was just acting. I am introducing a bill that prohibits the injection, release, or dispersion of chemicals or substances into the atmosphere for the express purpose of altering weather, temperature, climate, or sunlight intensity. It will be a felony offense. I've been researching weather modification. I'm sure you have, Marjorie. I'm sure you have. And working with the Legislative Council for months writing this bill. It will be similar to Florida Senate Bill 56. We must end the dangerous and deadly practice of weather modification and geoengineering. The implication being that somehow we've modified weather to the point where we are causing intentionally modified the weather to cause these things. Well, I mean, in a way, yes, but not in the way that she believes. She believes in some kind of wild conspiracy that the government must have some kind of technology to modify the weather, when in reality it is a product of the climate crisis, which she refuses to acknowledge that is real. So no farting. That's right. Mouselander. I feel like I feel like that just means she's harassing Jewish people. I mean, it is her MO. Yeah, like we're talking chemtrails type stuff. Like not Not fossil fuels that have been destroying the planet for decades. No, we're talking like Alex Jones type stuff with chemtrails and cloud seeding and whatnot. None of which have the ability to modify weather like she claims. And certainly not cause devastating floods like what happened in Texas. I mean, she tweeted this a day after this happened. Just truly unhinged stuff. Instead of owning responsibility for the decisions that her party and by extension she's greenlit, nope, we're talking about modifying weather and making it a felony to do so. Lucas, thank you for the follow. Welcome. What's this? A member of Congress tweeting some unhinged stuff. That's what this is. You know, I this isn't like an Onion article. This isn't satire. This isn't a joke. This isn't like a parody account. This is a representative of Congress tweeting this. Looks like a squirrel to me. Just unhinged, delusional stuff, really. Marjorie Gangrene and Alex Jones. Now that would be a power couple. I mean, that's probably what she researched, right? Chemtrailers annoy me more than flat earthers. It's the same. It's the same Venn diagram of chemtrailers and flat earthers, and yeah, it's a circle. The Venn diagram of these people it's just a circle. Okay, I thought we were going to end the night crying. Turns out we're going to end it raging instead. This AI video generator only lets you do happy stuff. That's kind of weird. Doctors and public health organizations sue Kennedy over vaccine policy changes. Don't forget Jewish space lasers. Yep, who could forget? I want the government to start spraying stuff into the clouds and air just to piss these chemtrailers off. A coalition of doctors, groups, and public health organizations sued the U.S. government on Monday over the decision to stop recommending COVID-19 vaccinations for most children and pregnant women. The American Academy for Pediatrics, American Public Health Association, and four other groups, along with unnamed pregnant doctor who works in a hospital, filed a lawsuit in federal court in Boston. U.S. health officials, following infectious disease expert guidelines, previously urged annual COVID shots for all Americans ages 6 months and older. But in late May, Health Secretary Robert Kennedy Jr. announced that he was removing COVID-19 shots from the CDC's prevention recommendations for healthy children and pregnant women. A number of health experts decried the move as confusing and accused Kennedy of disregarding the scientific review process that has been placed for decades, in which experts publicly review current medical evidence and hash out the pros and cons of policy change. The new lawsuit repeats those concerns, alleging that Kennedy and other political appointees at the Department of Health and Human Services have flouted federal procedure and systemically attempted to mislead the public. I mean, yes, right? This is insane. This administration is an existential threat to vaccination in America, and those in charge are only just getting started, said Richard Hughes, the fourth lead attorney for the plaintiff. If left unchecked, Secretary Kennedy will accomplish they'll accomplish his goal of ridding the United States of vaccines, which could unleash a wave of preventable harm on our nation's children. Yep. Well, now we gotta do it.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay. Do you understand that? Turn the friggin' frogs gay. Serious crap. Gay. Frogs, friggin' frogs. It's not funny. I'm gonna say it real slow for you. Gay. Frogs. Won't you fight for your life? Gay. Frogs, friggin' frogs. I don't like the frogs. Gay. Friggin' frogs. Frogs. Friggin' frog crap. Won't you fight the frogs? It's not funny. I'm gonna say it real slow for you. Frogs. Place point.
All right, now that we got that out of the way, I wonder if he believes what he says. He probably no. In fact, I don't know if he does. He says, he claims that it's just a character that he plays. He claims that it's a character that he plays. So take that with how you will. Ladybug. I will say Donnie has simplified my medical decisions. I'll just do the opposite of what they say. Yep, there you go. He testified in court. Yeah. That's exactly where I'm getting. I'm pretty sure he said that, or at least what he's said in court is that he's playing a character so that he's not to be taken seriously because it's all like a show. HHS officials did not immediately respond for a request for comment. Also joining the suit are the American College of Physicians, the Infectious Diseases Society of America, the Massachusetts Public Health Association, and the Society of Maternal Fetal Medicine. So we'll see. But I mean, it sounds like more and more of the health community is pushing back against it because this is just absurd, and it will have really bad implications for the American people. I made it barely. That's all good. I appreciate you being here. In court under oath, he said it was a character, but of course he may have lied. Yeah, I mean, like, that's all we got, His wife disagrees. Did she say he was being for real? I'm on it. I'm gonna be honest. That's what he says. That's what we've got. And his wife. I forget what his ex-wife has said, but like it is quite possible that not entirely truthful. It's hard to make that determination 100% in that position anyway, under threat of perjury. Yeah, I mean, although I would have to say that I would probably believe the ex-wife over Alex Jones, given him being Alex Jones. She claims that he's just like that. Who cares? The result is awful either way. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. That's true. Just trying to save money. That's unsettling, Soul Life. It's AI. It's supposed to be unsettling. We got one more story, folks. Trump announces new tariffs could of up to 40% on a growing number of countries. We're back. We're back, folks. President Trump cranked up the pressure on Monday today on America's trading partners, firing off letters to heads of several countries, informing them of the new tariff rate. But at the same time, the White House said Trump would take some of the edge off, with plans to sign an executive action Monday to extend the date to all reciprocal tariffs to August. Wait, no, hold on. Now we're talking August. Those reciprocal tariffs were expected to go into effect Wednesday. In some cases, the letters Trump sent specify new reciprocal tariff rates that are higher or lower compared to April levels. Japan's Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba and South Korea's President Lee Jae-myung were the first recipients of Trump's letters. Both countries will face a 25% tariff come August 1st, said Trump in a post on his social media, displaying the letters, potentially giving countries more time to negotiate deals. Around 2 hours later, he announced similar letters were sent to Malaysia, Kazakhstan, South Africa, Myanmar, and Laos, informing their leaders of the new tariff rates as high as 40%. Now, we're also bringing back measles. Then later in the day, he posted 7 new letters sent to Tunisia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Indonesia, Bangladesh, Serbia, Cambodia, Thailand, putting the total of 14 letters delivered on Monday. Even more letters could be coming. Trump is set to announce approximately 12 of these letters on Monday. The White House press secretary Carolyn Levitt told reporters at the news briefing the letters will be announced via social media posts because that's how we do things now. But declined to preview which countries would be named. In the letters, Trump said he takes particular issue with trade deficits. Again, a non-issue. The United States runs with them, meaning America buys more goods from there compared to the amount that American businesses export to those countries. Trump also said the tariffs would be set in response to other policies that he deems impeding American goods from being sold abroad. I mean, like, it's just so wild that he's so fixated on this when it doesn't make any sense at all. Like, of course we're going to run trade deficits. I mean, just look at the relationship between the United States and China. Of course. What American goods? The only thing we seem to be exporting is weapons. That's about it. That's the prime American export. This is basic econ. Yep. That's right. We have the money. That's why we buy stuff. This is a consumerist economy. This is a consumerist, consumer-based economy. Nobody wants our chlorinated chicken and subpar pork. Yeah, 14 countries, presumably. 14 countries. 14 letters to heads of state. He encouraged country leaders to manufacture goods in the United States to avoid tariffs because, that's just how it happens. We just snap our fingers and manufacturing is going to appear in the country. This comes ahead of the initial 12 a.m. July 9th deadline for countries to make deals or face the threat of higher tariffs. The date marks the end of the pause on reciprocal tariffs, which briefly went into place in April. Since then, impacted countries have faced a minimum 10% tariff. However, Levitt said Trump will sign an executive order on Monday, pushing that deadline to August, which is in the best interest of the American people. She also said Trump's phone rings off the hook from world leaders all the time who are begging him to come to the deal. Yet only 3 deals have been announced over the past 3 months. It's just lies, man. A lot of countries couldn't be trade and neutral with us if they wanted to. Their populations aren't big enough. And they couldn't possibly buy enough. Right. We're like, let's be serious. Like, what is the population of, like, Myanmar in comparison to the population of the United States, right? Like, are we seriously going to expect Myanmar to consume or to spend as much in trade like that we do? In all 14 letters, Trump threatened to raise tariffs even higher than the specified rate if a country retaliated against the United States with tariffs of their own. Trump said these rates would be separate from sectorial tariffs, meaning, for instance, the new tariff won't be stacked on top of the current auto tariff of 25%, the White House confirmed. That would apply to any future sector-specific tariffs, too, a White House official said. Collectively, the U.S. brought $350 billion worth of goods last year from first 7 countries that received the letter on Monday. According to U.S. Commerce Department figures, Japan and South Korea, America's 6th and 7th largest trading partners, accounted for 80% of that shipping. For 80% of that, shipping a total of $280 billion worth of goods last year. This prospect of higher tariffs on goods could translate into higher prices for American consumers. Again, again for the umpteenth time, the people that pay the tariffs are the companies who are importing these things. Those companies will then pass that on to the consumers. Ultimately, we pay the tariffs. The prospect of higher tariffs could translate to higher prices for American consumers. Among the top goods Americans import from South Korea and Japan, for example, are cars, auto parts, semiconductors, pharmaceutical, and machinery. Trump has placed or threatened to levy industry-specific tariffs on many of those goods. In April, Japan was set to face a 24% tariff, while South Korea was set to face a 25% tariff. While the other 5 countries ship less than the United States compared to Japan and South Korea, in many cases they are among the top foreign source of goods. For instance, South Africa, which is set to face 30% tariffs, accounted for roughly half of the platinum the U.S. imported from other countries last year and was the top foreign supplier of it. Malaysia, which is set to face a 24% tariff versus a 25% rate that Trump announced in April, was the second top source of semiconductors shipped to the U.S. last year, with Americans purchasing $18 billion worth from them there. Stocks dropped lower midday after Trump announced the 25% tariffs on Japan and South Korea, set to go into effect on August 1st. Stocks continued to fall in the afternoon because we're doing another pump and dump, I guess. I don't know. We just, I don't know, arbitrarily just make up freaking stuff to make the line go up or down. As soon as Trump announced the tariffs of varying rates from 25 to 40% on countries including Myanmar, Malaysia, Kazakhstan, Laos, and South Africa. Despite Trump saying country-specific tariffs won't be stacked on top of sectorial ones, shares of auto companies that have a heavy manufacturing presence in Japan and South Korea declined sharply. U.S.-listed shares in major Japanese automakers Toyota, Nissan, and Honda dropped by 4%, 7.16, and 3.8 respectively. These declines, however, may reflect the increased likelihood of Trump potentially raising tariffs on cars from the 2 countries should they retaliate against the general 25% tariffs, which were to go into effect by slapping higher tariffs on American goods. These tariffs may be modified upward or downward depending on our relationship with our relationship with your country. You'll never be disappointed with the United States of America. Okay. Fantastic. Not Malaysia, such a nice country. I've never been. The Dow closed at 422. Dow closed lower by 422 or 0.94. The S&P fell 0.79. Sheesh. And the tech-heavy Nasdaq fell 0.92. The three major indexes posted the worst day in about 3 weeks. Well, we'll see, in August when he decides to play this game again. When Chicken Little decides to play again. I highly recommend. Well, when all this nonsense is over, be nice to just kind of visit another place. And they make billions the last time they threatened tariffs through shorting stocks. Yep, another pump and dump. I won't even risk going up to Canada in case of funny business. Yeah. That's where we're at. I'm not leaving the country. I'm not leaving the country. Right, unless you don't intend to come back. Yep, pretty much. Pretty much. How did we get here? You want like I was thinking a lot about like where the genesis or like where the steps are. And this goes back like a long time. This goes back a long time. I mean, like, you want to know like how far this goes? I mean, like, remember back in the day, about 14 years ago, I mean, we were, and I say we, I mean, like, society, there was people like the Amazing Racist who picked up Hispanic people as a prank, and dropped them off at immigration centers. And people thought that was funny. And you see, like, that's kind of like where or how you start. You have people like your Steven Crowders. I mean, you know this type of skits he's done, making fun of immigrants in detention centers. That's how it starts. You want to know how we got here? Like that. Like words. With words. The Holocaust didn't start with gas chambers. It started with words. looking back and watching those videos and people genuinely thinking that was funny is horrifying. Now, horrifying looking back at those videos in 14 years ago. I mean, you could look at the comment section. You can look at the comments that those videos, by the way, are still up. You can actually look up the amazing racist and look at the comments of 14 years ago. And you get an understanding as to how we got here, to where people are afraid of leaving the country because they don't know if coming back to this country they'll be scooped up by immigration or they'll be interrogated. I'm still pissed Governor Abbott didn't get any trafficking charges for busing people all over the country. Yep. DeSantis, too. I mean, now he's building concentration camps in Florida, so. Studio Ghibli inspired AI images of people being arrested and deported. Sheesh. If I ever go to Italy, I'll never come back. It's good to be here with all of you guys at least. Yeah. I mean, we keep each other safe. Even in this rough time, we're all here. We're all together. Yep, we keep each other sane too. Yep. All right, folks, it's time for me to get out of here. Time for me to get some food. Thank you, Heat. Folks, thank you all for being here. Appreciate it. Thank you to Tom Nicholas for that massive raid. Appreciate it. Thank you for the folks who hanged out. And thank you for the folks who followed. I really appreciate that. Thank you. If you want to support the channel, folks, keep doing what you're doing. Keep hitting that follow button. We just passed 2,620. Look at that. We and on the YouTube side we're at 380. That is 120 subscribers away from 500. Can you believe that? Sanity's overrated. Can you believe that? Just 120 subs away from 500 on YouTube. Keep doing what you're doing, folks. Thank you to the YouTube crew. Thank you, Heat. Thank you, Michael Hasser, for modding the chat. I appreciate it. If you want to support the channel directly, folks, make sure you hit that exclamation mark tip. Check out the merch store, Substack. Join the Discord. Folks, check us out on this space. I stream the 1 hour news on this space on Tuesdays from 7 to 8 p.m. This space is a working class collective, so there is something for everyone on this space. It's not just politics. It's not just news. But there is something for everyone on this space, so consider checking it out. Folks, it's time for me to go. We'll be back tomorrow on this space. 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Yeah, do all the things. 500 is monetization? I think so. I think you can get memberships, or it's like 500 is like the baby. You're not like a partner, but you're something else. You're like a baby partner. 1,000 subs is when you get a partner, right? But at 500, you get like a baby partner kind of. I think you get like access to memberships and stuff like that. Now let's put on some music. You're right. Thank you all for being here. As always, folks, please stay safe. Please take care of each other. I love you all, and I hope to see you guys in the next one tomorrow at this space. See ya. Yeah, cooking. Thank you, Heat. Better get those membership emotes ready. Appreciate that, folks. Can't wait to be a member. All right, folks, hang tight. We're heading out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bye-bye.